Imagine your body running on just 1% battery. You feel tired, unfocused, maybe even in pain. What if there were a way to recharge your vital energy without needing anything external? An ancient secret, known by the Egyptian god Thoth, reveals that your body has 8 hidden energy outlets. When you touch them in the right order, you start a process of self-healing, releasing an energy that has always been there. The first outlet, for example, is under your armpits. Touching this area releases stagnant energy caused by stress and anxiety, and relief can be felt within seconds. But this is just the beginning. Each portal you activate increases the flow of energy, but the real secret lies in the last one, which unlocks your reserve of ancestral energy. The problem is, 99% of people who try to do this on their own get the sequence wrong and miss out on the most powerful effect. Stay until the end to learn the complete map and the exact order to activate your full healing energy. Because the difference between doing it right and doing it wrong is huge. If you're ready to recharge your energy, comment "energy activated now," thousands of miles away. In a different era, the Taoist masters of ancient China, through careful observation of nature and the human body, came to a strikingly similar conclusion. They mapped a network of energy rivers, the meridians, and discovered that in certain points, this energy tends to stagnate, like standing water in a river, causing blockages that lead to illness. They developed precise techniques to release these blockages and restore the harmonious flow of life force, which they called Qi. The similarity between the two systems is so remarkable that it can't be a mere coincidence. What connects these two great cultures is the discovery of a universal biological code, a system of 8 specific energy portals in our body. Think of them like switches. When turned off or blocked, vital energy decreases. The body becomes ill, and the mind fills with anxiety and confusion. But when these portals are activated in the correct sequence, a cascade of reactions begins. Energy flows freely again, toxins are released, organs are revitalized, and the mind becomes calm. It's a system reboot process. Modern science, with its mechanistic view, is only beginning to scratch the surface of this wisdom. Studies on the lymphatic system, fascia, and the body's bioelectricity are starting to validate what the ancients already knew thousands of years ago. They are discovering that these portals correspond to areas rich in lymph nodes, nerve plexuses, and fascia intersection points, the connective tissue web that surrounds our entire body. Stimulating these areas isn't mysticism. It's a real, measurable physiological action. The big question that remains is, why was this knowledge lost? Why were we taught to ignore the innate wisdom of our own bodies? The answer is complex, but the most important thing is that now, in this very moment, this wisdom is re-emerging. You don't need permission, a guru, or a diploma to access it. You just need the key, and that key is about to be revealed. But before we learn to turn the key, we need to understand the source of its power. What exactly did Thoth know that was so revolutionary it was considered divine? The figure of Thoth in the Egyptian pantheon goes far beyond that of a simple deity. He was the embodiment of cosmic intelligence, the master of divine knowledge, and above all, the architect of healing. The Egyptians didn't see him just as a god to be worshipped, but as the first doctor, the originator of all health science. The oldest surviving medical papyri, like the famous Eber's papyrus, are considered copies of much older texts directly attributed to him. In these documents, we find shockingly precise medicine, with diagnoses, treatments, and even surgical procedures. But Thoth's wisdom went far beyond the physical. He understood that illness wasn't just a malfunction of the body, but a disruption of the vital force. Egyptian mythology gives us a powerful clue about this in the story of Osiris. When Osiris is dismembered by his brother Set, it's Isis, his wife, who gathers his pieces. But she can't bring him back to life on her own. It's Thoth who teaches her the magic words, the correct vibrations, the incantations that reactivate the vital force and allow resurrection. This reveals mastery over the very essence of life. This vital force, which the Egyptians called Ankh, wasn't seen as a gift exclusive to the gods. Thoth taught that this divine spark lived within every human being, an inner flame that, if properly nurtured, guaranteed health, vitality, and longevity. True healing, in his view, didn't come from the outside in through potions or amulets, although those could help. Real and lasting healing was a process from the inside out, an awakening of the body's innate ability to regenerate by harnessing the invisible energy that permeates everything. His teaching suggested that the human body was a temple, and within that temple were secret chambers, power points that functioned as portals to this vital energy. Manipulating these portals was the key to mastering health. It wasn't magic in the superstitious sense, but sacred science, a deep understanding of the energetic laws that govern both the body and the universe. It was inner technology, based on vibration, intention, and precise knowledge of the subtle anatomy of the human being. Imagine the priest-doctors of ancient Egypt, trained in the temples of Thoth. They weren't just physicians. They were initiates. They learned to see beyond the physical body, to feel the flow of energy, to diagnose blockages before they even manifested as illness. They used sound, breath, precise touch, and focused intention to reopen energetic channels and restore harmony. It was preventive and holistic medicine in its purest form, treating the human being as a whole, body, mind, and spirit. This worldview is in stark contrast to our modern approach, which often treats the body like a broken-down car, replacing parts and suppressing symptoms without addressing the root cause of the imbalance. Thoth's secret was that the root cause of almost all illness was a blockage in the flow of the vital force. Release the flow, and the body knows exactly how to heal itself. The intelligence that created the body from a single cell is the same intelligence that can heal it, if we just get out of the way. The question that has puzzled historians and esoteric scholars for centuries is how this incredibly specific and refined knowledge, born in a civilization isolated by desert sands, managed to survive the fall of empires, the burning of libraries, and the forgetfulness of time. And even more intriguing, how did that same wisdom, with its core principles intact, manage to cross deserts and oceans to reappear in a new form, in a culture so geographically and philosophically distant as ancient China? The answer to this mystery isn't carved in stone, but woven into the invisible threads that connected the ancient world. The famous Silk Roads weren't just trails for camels loaded with goods. They were the first global highways of information. Along those dusty paths, not only silk, spices, and gold traveled, but something infinitely more valuable: ideas, philosophies, technologies, and most importantly, healing secrets. They were true arteries of knowledge pulsing through the heart of Eurasia, connecting civilizations in ways political maps don't show. Imagine a Buddhist monk traveling from India to China, a Persian merchant heading toward the Mediterranean, or a nomadic sage crossing the Central Asian steppes. On their long journeys, they stopped at oases and trading cities, where they met people from all kinds of cultures. In these stops, at night, around campfires, they didn't just trade goods. They exchanged stories, survival techniques, and healing knowledge. A remedy for fever, a meditation technique to calm the mind, a method to ease pain. It was a silent and organic exchange of wisdom. It was in this constant flow that the principles of Egyptian vital science, likely carried by sages and healers fleeing political instability or simply seeking new horizons, began their long journey eastward. They didn't carry books or papyri, but living knowledge embodied in their practices. When these concepts about vital force and energy portals in the body arrived in China, they didn't find empty ground. On the contrary, they encountered a rich and receptive philosophical and medical ecosystem. Chinese Taoist masters had already spent centuries, maybe millennia, observing the flow of nature and its reflection within the human body. They had already developed the concept of qi, the vital energy that animates all things, and the meridians, the invisible channels through which this energy flows. When they heard of the Egyptian principles, it wasn't like discovering something new. It was like finding a missing piece of a puzzle they had already been assembling. They recognized the universal truth in what was being shared. The Chinese genius wasn't just absorbing this knowledge, but refining it with astonishing scientific precision. They took the general concept of energy portals and mapped it out in meticulous detail, identifying the exact location of hundreds of acupuncture points. They discovered that among all these points, there were 8 key areas, 8 voids, where qi naturally tended to get blocked, like a traffic jam on a major highway. These areas were the main joints, the armpits, elbows, groin, and backs of the knees. They realized that these blockages were the root cause of a wide range of illnesses. Energy stagnation in one area created a domino effect, impacting internal organ function and emotional balance. Pain, inflammation, fatigue, anxiety. All of it could be traced back to one of these energy traffic jams. The solution, then, was elegantly simple. Find a way to dissolve the blockage and restore the free, uninterrupted flow of vital energy. From that discovery, a powerful and accessible technique was born. This technique didn't require needles or complex instruments. It was based on something we all have, our own hands. They discovered that gentle, rhythmic tapping on these 8 areas was enough to create a vibration that broke up stagnant energy, like the ripples from a pebble tossed into still water. Activating these points became the foundation of a daily self-healing practice, a method to keep the body's energy rivers constantly flowing. But the first step to unlocking this entire system starts in a place most of us only associate with sweat and deodorant. The first portal, the starting point for this self-healing journey, is hidden in a place that our modern culture has taught us to ignore or even despise: the armpits. It might seem like a strange or even silly location, but in the wisdom of Chinese medicine, this area is one of the most important energy intersections in the human body. Think of it as a major traffic circle in a big city where several important avenues meet. Here, the meridians of the heart, lungs, and pericardium, the heart's protector, intersect, making this area vital to our physical and emotional health. In modern life, we are constantly under attack. Work, stress, financial worries, relationship conflicts, the non-stop barrage of bad news. All of this tension isn't just mental. It has a physical counterpart. It translates into contracted energy, tightness in the chest, shallow breathing. And where does all that contracted energy go? It piles up, like trash in an alleyway, right in this first portal. Unprocessed grief, chronic anxiety, and built-up stress create a real energetic traffic jam in the armpits. This blockage isn't harmless. When the energy of the heart and lungs becomes stagnant, a series of problems starts to show up. Palpitations, arrhythmias, tightness in the chest, insomnia, anxiety, and even panic attacks can all have their roots in this congestion. The energy that should be nourishing the heart gets stuck, and the heart, our inner emperor, starts to suffer. It's like trying to run an engine with a fuel line clogged. The body gives us signs, but we've been taught to ignore them or silence them with medication. The solution offered by the ancient masters is surprisingly simple and straightforward. You don't need anything but your own hands. The technique involves using your opposite hand, gently cupped, to apply soft, rhythmic taps to the armpit area. It's not meant to be painful. The goal isn't to punish the body. It's to wake it up. The cupped hand creates a hollow vibration that penetrates deep into the tissue, much more effectively than a flat-handed slap. That vibration acts like a subtle shock wave, breaking up the stagnation of qi. When you do this, you're sending a clear message to your nervous system. Let go. You're mechanically stimulating blood and lymph circulation in the area, helping to clear out the physical toxins that also build up there. But more importantly, you're breaking through the energy dam. Many people, when practicing this technique for the first time, report an immediate sense of relief, like a weight has been lifted off their chest. Breathing becomes deeper, the mind calms down, and a wave of warmth and relaxation spreads throughout the body. This practice is easy to incorporate into any routine. Right after waking up, to clear the stagnant energy from the night, or at the end of a stressful day, to release built-up tension. Gently tap your left armpit with your right hand, then your right armpit with your left hand. Do this for about 1 to 3 minutes on each side, breathing deeply. It's a simple act of self-care, a recognition that you have the power to shift your internal state. It's the first step toward taking back control of your own energy, but this is just the entry gate. Releasing the stress stored in the heart and lungs is essential, but it's only the beginning of the cleansing process. The released energy needs somewhere to go, and the body has other portals that deal with different kinds of blockages and toxins. Unlocking the heart's energy is like opening the first floodgate of a dam. Now we need to follow the flow of the water and open the next one. And the next portal, located in our elbows, holds the key to purifying our blood in a way you probably never imagined possible. After releasing the stagnant energy of the heart and lungs, our cleansing journey moves downward to the second major energy portal, the inner crease of the elbows, just like the armpits. This is an area we rarely pay attention to, unless it hurts. However, in Chinese medicine, the elbow crease is a crucial release point, a true detox center for our circulatory system. This is where the meridians of the pericardium and large intestine meet, creating a direct connection between our emotional health and our ability to eliminate what no longer serves us. Chinese medicine has a concept called heat in the blood. This doesn't refer to the literal temperature of the blood, but to a state of overload and systemic inflammation. Think of your body like an engine. When it runs too long at high speed, under constant stress, consuming inflammatory foods, and processing intense emotions like anger and frustration, it overheats. That heat builds up in the blood and can show up as skin problems, irritability, internal fever, anxiety, and a restless mind. The elbow crease works as a release valve for that excess heat. It's a point where metabolic toxins and emotional heat can exit the circulatory system. When this area is blocked, the heat gets trapped, putting extra pressure on the heart and the entire system. Stimulating this portal helps ventilate the system, cool the blood, and purify it. It's like opening a window in a stuffy room, letting fresh air in and stale air out, restoring balance and clarity. The technique to activate this second portal is identical to the first one, keeping it simple and accessible. With your arm slightly bent, use your opposite hand cupped to apply soft ondida rhythmic taps to the inner crease of your elbow. The vibration travels through the joint, stimulating the flow of qi and blood. In doing so, you're not just easing the load on the heart, protected by the pericardium meridian. You're also activating the large intestine's function, which is responsible for eliminating physical waste from the body. Many times, during this practice, you might notice a skin reaction. The area may turn red or even show tiny purple spots, known as shai. In Chinese medicine, this isn't seen as bruising, but as a positive sign that stagnation and toxins are being drawn from the deeper levels of the blood to the surface of the skin, where they can be cleared by the lymphatic system. It's visible proof that detox is happening in real time, a deep cleanse that you can initiate at any moment. By incorporating the activation of this second portal into your daily routine, right after stimulating your armpits, you create a more complete cleansing flow. First, you release emotional stress from the heart and lungs. Then, you purify the blood of that released stress and other built-up toxins. It's a two-step process that calms the mind, reduces inflammation, and promotes a sense of lightness and well-being. You are, in effect, performing your own energetic dialysis, cleansing your system from the inside out. We've already calmed the emotional center and purified the circulatory system. The body feels lighter, the mind clearer, but the detox and realignment journey isn't over. There are still denser residues and deeper blockages to deal with, especially those related to how our body processes food and generates energy. The next portal, located in our groin area, deals with something even more fundamental: the energy that governs our metabolism and daily vitality. Continuing our downward energy flow, we arrive at the third pair of portals, a zone of immense power that governs the very foundation of our physical energy. The groin area. This area, where the legs meet the torso, is much more than just a joint. In Chinese medicine, it's a nerve center where the meridians of the liver, spleen, and stomach intersect. These organs form the core of our digestive and metabolic system, responsible for turning the food we eat into the energy we use to live, think, and feel. In our culture, digestion is viewed as a purely chemical process, but from an energetic perspective, it's much more. It's a process of internal alchemy. The spleen and pancreas are responsible for extracting qi, the pure energy, from food. The liver, in turn, ensures that this energy flows smoothly throughout the body without blockages. When the energy in this groin region becomes stagnant, that whole alchemical process is disrupted. It's like having a factory with jammed conveyor belts and generators running at half power. This blockage in the groin is extremely common in the modern world. We spend hours sitting, compressing this area. We consume processed, hard-to-digest foods, overloading the spleen and liver, and we hold on to emotions like excessive worry and anger, the very emotions that most affect these organs. The result is chronic stagnation, which shows up as metabolic problems: weight gain, difficulty losing weight, bloating, fatigue after meals, and blood sugar imbalances. Activating this third portal is a direct and powerful way to reset your entire metabolic system. By applying the same rhythmic tapping with cupped hands to the groin area, you're sending a vibration that dissolves stagnation of qi and blood. You're directly stimulating the lymphatic system, which is incredibly dense in this area, helping to drain toxins and accumulated fluids that cause bloating and heaviness. It's a deep massage for your digestive organs, an invitation for them to start functioning at full capacity again. This practice is an extraordinary complementary tool for anyone seeking a healthy weight and more energy. Instead of focusing only on counting calories, you shift your focus to restoring the flow of energy that allows your body to metabolize food efficiently. By stimulating the spleen's qi, you improve your body's ability to extract nutrients. By softening the flow of liver qi, you ensure that this energy is distributed evenly rather than becoming stagnant and turning into fat or dampness. Imagine the feeling of lightness that comes when your digestion works perfectly. The mental clarity that arises when your body is no longer struggling to process what you've eaten. The vitality you feel when every cell receives the energy it needs. That's what activating the groin portal can offer. It's a fundamental step in transforming your body from a sluggish, overloaded storage system into an efficient, dynamic power plant capable of supporting you throughout your day. So far, we've calmed the heart, purified the blood, and restarted the metabolism. The body is running cleaner and more efficiently. Energy flows more freely. It's already a deep transformation. But one piece of the puzzle is still missing. The final piece, the link that ties all of this to our deepest source of power and longevity. Now, we're about to reveal the final connection, the missing link that unites the wisdom of Thoth with the precision of China. And it lies in the last and most mysterious portal. We've reached the climax of our journey. The fourth and final pair of portals, the creases behind the knees. This seemingly humble area is actually one of the most powerful and meaningful points in the entire human energy system. In acupuncture, the main point located here, called Wei Zhong, is so important that it's known as the command point of the lower back. But its role goes far beyond easing back pain. This is where we find the final revelation, the missing link that connects the Egyptian wisdom of life force with the Chinese energy map. This point is the master point of the bladder meridian, the longest meridian in the body, which runs all along the back, from head to feet, like a great protective river. And here's the key that connects everything. In Chinese medicine, the bladder meridian is energetically paired and intimately linked to the kidneys. And the kidneys are not just seen as fluid filters. They are considered the home of our vital essence, the source of our ancestral energy, also known as Jing. Jing is our constitutional battery. It's the reserve of life force we inherit from our parents at the moment of conception. It determines our core vitality, our longevity, our strength, and our ability to recover from illness and stress. Think of it as your phone's main battery. While the qi you get from food and air is the energy you recharge throughout the day. When Jing is strong, we are resilient and full of life. When it's depleted, we age prematurely and get sick easily. And here's the surprising connection. Thoth, in ancient Egypt, spoke about manipulating the force of life, the ankh, the essence that animates the body. Chinese masters, thousands of miles and centuries apart, mapped out this same essential force and located it in the kidneys, calling it Jing. Stimulating the backs of the knees, the master point of the meridian that connects directly to the kidneys, is the most direct way to access and activate this ancestral energy. It's how you recharge the fundamental battery of your body. When you apply gentle tapping behind your knees, you're doing much more than relieving tension in your legs or lower back. You're sending a deep vibration that resonates with the kidneys' energy, stimulating them to release the essence of Jing to nourish and revitalize your entire body. That's why this practice is so powerful for fighting chronic fatigue, strengthening bones, improving sexual function, and sharpening mental clarity. You're tapping into your deepest source of power. Now, the complete sequence makes perfect sense. It's not just a series of random exercises, but an ancient healing ritual, a logical sequence of energy activation. You start at the armpits to open the heart and release stress, then move down to the elbows to purify the blood, continue to the groin to restart the metabolism. And finally, you reach the backs of the knees to recharge your ancestral battery with the purified and balanced energy you've just cultivated. It's a full cycle of cleansing, purification, and recharge. By activating these 4 portals in sequence, You're combining the wisdom of Thoth with Chinese precision. You're recreating a sacred ritual designed to awaken the regenerative power that has always been dormant inside you. You're not just relieving symptoms. You're addressing the root cause of imbalance, restoring the flow of life force at every level of your being. This is the lost secret that has now been found again. Healing is not something you seek outside. It's something you awaken within. Now that the map has been revealed and the portals have been located, it's time to turn knowledge into power. The real magic isn't in knowing. It's in doing. Bringing together the activation of the 8 portals into a daily ritual is like learning to conduct an orchestra. Each instrument has its role, but it's the harmonious sequence that creates the symphony of healing. The order here isn't random. It follows the logic of nature itself, the pull of gravity, cleansing the body from top to bottom, from heaven to earth. It's a downward flow that ensures stagnant energy and released toxins are effectively moved downward and out of the system, rather than just circling around chaotically. The ritual begins at the top, the armpits, the portal of the heart and lungs. By activating this area first, you're opening the floodgates of your emotional center. You release stress, anxiety, and built-up sadness, allowing your chest to expand and your breath to deepen. Next, the released energy flows down to the elbows, the second portal. Here, you purify the blood of that emotional residue and metabolic heat, calming the mind and relieving the burden on the heart. It's like filtering the murky water just released from the dam, making it cleaner and smoother to continue its path. After purification, the sequence continues to the groin, the third portal and center of our metabolic power. With cleaner energy now flowing, you activate the spleen, liver, and pancreas, boosting the body's ability to transform food into vitality. It's like using the now clean water to spin the turbines of a power plant, generating strength and nourishment for the entire system. Finally, the ritual is completed at the backs of the knees, the portal of our ancestral energy. Here, you use the freshly generated vitality to recharge your core battery, strengthening your structure, resilience, and longevity. You may have noticed the recommended number of taps, 36 or 81. Why not 30 or 100? The answer lies in the sacred numerology that permeates many ancient traditions. The number 9, 3 plus 6, 9, 8 plus 1 is 9, is considered a number of completion and spiritual mastery. Multiples of 9, like 36 and 81, were used to amplify intention and align the practice with the rhythms of the universe. By following this count, you're not just doing a physical act, but infusing your practice with powerful symbolic intention, turning a simple exercise into a ritual of power. The ideal frequency is twice a day. In the morning, the ritual acts as an ignition. It clears the night's stagnation, activates circulation, and prepares your energy system for the demands of the day ahead. You start your day not on autopilot, but fully online and energized in both body and mind. At night, before bed, the practice has a different effect. It clears the energetic waste accumulated during the day, releases work-related tension, and calms the nervous system, preparing you for a deeper, more restorative sleep. The key is consistency. Doing it occasionally will bring momentary relief, but turning it into a daily habit is what creates real transformation. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't do it only when you feel a cavity coming on. You do it every day to prevent problems. In the same way, this ritual is your daily energetic hygiene. It's the commitment to keep your internal rivers flowing, your portals open, and your life force vibrant. It's an act of deep self-love and self-mastery. By performing this sacred sequence every day, You stop being a passive passenger in your own body and become the conductor of your own energy. You're actively participating in your healing process, realigning your system with the innate intelligence that created it. But what exactly happens on a physical, chemical level when you turn this ancient practice into a consistent habit? The answer lies in a cascade of biochemical reactions that modern science is only beginning to decode. Ancient wisdom may sound poetic, but it's describing very real biological processes. When you perform the sacred sequence, you're not just moving some mystical energy, you're triggering a powerful cascade of biochemical reactions that contemporary science can measure and explain. The language has changed, but the phenomenon is the same. What the masters called releasing stagnant qi, a modern scientist might call promoting lymphatic drainage and increasing microcirculation. Both are correct. They're just describing the same event from different perspectives. Let's start with the lymphatic system, the body's sanitation network. Unlike blood, which has the heart to pump it, lymphatic fluid depends on movement and muscle contraction to circulate and remove toxins, bacteria, and cellular waste. The portal areas, especially the armpits and groin, are extremely rich in lymph nodes. Rhythmic tapping acts like a manual pump, mechanically stimulating lymph flow. This speeds up the removal of metabolic waste, reducing swelling, inflammation, and drastically boosting the immune system. Next, we have the effect on blood flow. The vibration from the tapping causes localized vasodilation, which means the small blood vessels in the area expand. This increases the flow of fresh blood, rich in oxygen and nutrients, to tissues, tendons, and joints. At the same time, it helps remove venous blood loaded with carbon dioxide and other waste. This enhanced exchange speeds up tissue repair, relieves stiffness, and nourishes the cells, creating a sensation of warmth and vitality in the stimulated area. It's a way to irrigate areas that were previously dry and stagnant. Vibration also has a profound effect on the nervous system. The skin is our largest sensory organ, full of nerve endings. Gentle, rhythmic stimulation sends signals through the spinal cord to the brain, which responds by releasing endorphins, our natural painkillers and antidepressants. That's why the practice can create an almost immediate sense of well-being and pain relief. Additionally, this stimulation helps shift the nervous system from fight or flight mode, sympathetic, to rest and digest mode, parasympathetic, which is crucial for healing and regeneration. Regular practice has a measurable impact on our hormones, especially cortisol, the infamous stress hormone. Chronically high levels of cortisol suppress the immune system, increase inflammation, and contribute to weight gain. By calming the nervous system and promoting relaxation, the portal sequence helps regulate cortisol production, breaking the vicious cycle of chronic stress. This not only improves mood and sleep quality, but also creates an internal environment much more conducive to healing and overall hormonal balance. Another key marker that science can measure is heart rate variability, HRV, which tracks the variation in time between heartbeats. A high HRV is a sign of a healthy, resilient, and adaptable nervous system. A low HRV is associated with chronic stress, disease, and accelerated aging. Practices like deep breathing and rhythmic stimulation, which balance the autonomic nervous system, have consistently been shown to improve HRV. By practicing the portal ritual, you are literally training your heart and nervous system to become more resilient. The biochemical cascade we just explored is fascinating, but it's only part of the story. The human body isn't just a bundle of chemical reactions. It's the living repository of all our experiences, especially our emotions. Every joy, every sorrow, every fear, and every burst of anger we've ever felt leaves a mark, an energetic imprint in our tissues. Emotions aren't just abstract ideas in the mind. They are energy in motion, or, as often happens, energy that gets stuck, unable to move. When we go through an intense emotion and don't fully process it, whether because it's not safe to express or because we don't know how, that energy doesn't disappear. It crystallizes in the body. Therapist and scientist Wilhelm Reich called this muscular armor, chronic tension in the muscles that acts as a defense against overwhelming feelings. Chinese medicine had already mapped this phenomenon with precision thousands of years ago, locating these emotional blockages exactly in the 8 voids, the portals we've been exploring. They are the storage rooms where we keep unresolved emotions. Each portal is associated with specific emotions. The armpits, connected to the heart and lungs, are where sadness, grief, loneliness, and difficulty connecting settle. When we feel heartbroken or suffer a deep loss, the natural tendency is to close the chest, hunch the shoulders, and restrict the breath, creating a massive blockage in this area. Anger, frustration, resentment, and impatience, most on the other hand, are tied to liver energy and tend to stagnate in the groin area, creating tension and stiffness in the hips and pelvis. Anxiety, shock, panic, and extreme vulnerability directly affect the pericardium, the heart's protector, and its energy tends to accumulate in the crease of the elbows. It's like we instinctively cross our arms to shield our vulnerable center. Deep fear, that existential fear that shakes our foundations, is connected to kidney energy, our ancestral battery, and it shows up as blockages behind the knees, often leading to a feeling of weakness and instability, like the ground might vanish at any moment. When you tap on these points, you're doing much more than stimulating lymph or blood. You're literally breaking through these energetic and emotional armors. The physical vibration acts like a subtle hammer on a block of ice, creating cracks in the muscular armor and allowing frozen emotional energy to begin melting and flowing again. That's why the practice can be so emotionally intense. It's not uncommon for people to feel a wave of sadness, anger, or even an uncontrollable urge to laugh when stimulating one of these points. This emotional release should not be feared. On the contrary, it's a sign of deep healing. It's the body finally letting go of old baggage it's been carrying for years, maybe even decades. It's the opportunity to finally process and release what's been stuck. Instead of suppressing the emotion that arises, the practice invites us to simply observe it, to breathe through it, and to allow it to move, without judgment. Every tear, every sigh, every tremble is a step toward inner freedom. By practicing the portal ritual regularly, you become an emotional alchemist. You learn to melt the armor that's been keeping you from fully feeling life. You release the weight of the past that's kept you hunched over and create space for more joy, more lightness, and more vitality. Physical healing and emotional healing go hand in hand. One can't fully happen without the other. You're cleansing not just the toxins from your body, but also the poisons of your soul. But how can we make this release process even more powerful and intentional? The rhythmic tapping technique is the foundation, the mechanical structure that starts the release process. It's the key you insert into the lock. But to turn the key and fully open the door, we need 2 powerful amplifiers that turn a physical exercise into a sacred act of healing, breath, and intention. Without them, the practice is effective. But with them, it becomes exponentially more transformative. They are the fuel that powers the engine of regeneration, directing the released energy with awareness and purpose, ensuring that healing happens at the deepest levels of our being. Let's start with breath. Breath is the bridge between body and mind, between the conscious and the unconscious. It's the only function of the autonomic nervous system we can control voluntarily. Most of the time, we breathe short and shallow, especially when we're stressed, keeping the body in a constant state of alert. Deep, diaphragmatic breathing, on the other hand, is the fastest and most effective way to signal to our nervous system that it's safe to relax and enter healing mode. Before starting the tapping sequence, take a moment. Stand or sit comfortably. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Inhale slowly through your nose, feeling your belly expand like a balloon. Hold for a moment, then exhale slowly through your mouth, letting out an audible sigh and releasing all the tension. This simple act already shifts your physiology, calms your mind, and brings you into the present moment. During the practice, maintain conscious, deep, steady breathing, syncing it with the rhythm of the tapping if possible. Now let's add the second amplifier, intention. Intention is the GPS of energy. Energy flows where attention goes. If you're doing the tapping while thinking about your grocery list or work problems, the effectiveness is limited. But if you direct your mind with clear focus, you become a healing laser. As you tap on each portal, place your full attention on that area of your body. Feel the vibration. Feel the heat. Feel the energy moving. Intention focuses and concentrates the power of the practice. We can amplify this even further with visualization. The subconscious mind thinks in images. As you tap on each portal, visualize the stagnant energy breaking apart and dissolving. Imagine it as dark smoke, melting ice, or sludge being washed away. With each exhale, see that dark energy leaving your body and harmlessly dissipating. With each inhale, visualize bright healing light, maybe golden or white, filling the space that's been cleared, bringing nourishment, vitality, and peace to that area. This isn't fantasy. It's a direct command to your energy system. When you combine these 3 elements, that's when the magic happens. The tapping, the body, breaks up physical stagnation. The breath, the spirit, calms the nervous system and oxygenates the process. And the intention, the mind, directs the energy with surgical precision. You're aligning body, mind, and spirit with one single purpose: healing. The ritual stops being something you do and becomes something you are in that moment. You become an active channel for your own life force, consciously directing it where it's needed most. The journey we began inside our own body doesn't end there. Personal healing is never an isolated act. We live in an ocean of energy, interconnected with each other in ways science is only beginning to understand, through concepts like morphogenetic fields and quantum entanglement. Each individual is like a radio station, constantly broadcasting a frequency into the collective field. When your frequency is full of static, fear, and stress, that's what you contribute to the world. But when you clear your channels and raise your vibration, you change the music. When you practice the portal ritual and raise your own energetic frequency, you're not just healing yourself, you become a healing agent in the world. Think about how you feel around someone who's truly calm and centered. Just their presence has a calming effect. You relax, your breathing slows, you feel safer. They don't have to say or do anything. Their energy is doing the work. Now imagine that you become that person. Your calm starts to calm your family. Your mental clarity helps resolve conflict at work. Your vitality inspires your friends. This is the ripple effect. Your personal healing creates waves that spread outward, touching everyone you interact with. You become a point of stability in an increasingly chaotic and anxious world. Instead of being pulled into the stress and drama around you, you become an anchor of peace. People might not know why, but they'll feel better in your presence. You start to lift the atmosphere simply by being who you are, by vibrating at a frequency of balance and well-being that you actively cultivate every day. Ancient wisdom has always taught this. The healing of the individual is the microcosm of the healing of the planet. They understood that we can't create a peaceful world if we're at war within ourselves. We can't build a healthy world if our own bodies are full of toxins and blockages. The transformation of the world begins with the transformation of the individual. By becoming your own healer, by taking responsibility for your own energy, you're taking the most powerful step you can to contribute to the rise of collective consciousness. Think about the cumulative impact. If one person raising their vibration already has a positive effect, imagine dozens, hundreds, thousands of people doing the same. The collective frequency of humanity starts to shift. The resonance of fear and separation begins to be overcome by the resonance of coherence, love, and peace. What begins as a simple and personal act, tapping on your own body in a quiet room, becomes part of a global healing movement. It's silent activism, but incredibly powerful. You don't need to preach or try to convince anyone. The most effective way to change the world is through your own embodiment. Be the peace you want to see. Be the vitality you want to see. Be the clarity you want to see. Your own transformation becomes a silent invitation for others to find their own path to healing. Your light, shining brightly, shows others that they can light theirs too. It's leadership by example in its purest, most authentic form. This is the true reach of Thoth's legacy. The wisdom was never meant to be hoarded. It was meant to be lived and radiated, so it could catalyze the evolution of all humanity. Every time you complete the ritual, you are honoring that legacy and actively participating in that great work. You are healing yourself, healing your relationships, and helping to heal the world. But in the rush and distractions of modern life, how can we ensure that this vital practice isn't lost and that its effects are long-lasting? Cleansing and activating your energy portals is like doing a deep clean on your house. You open the windows, dust everything, throw out the trash, and leave everything shining. The feeling is amazing. But what happens after you're done? You don't leave the doors and windows wide open for dust and pollution to blow right back in. You close what needs to be closed. In the same way, after cleansing your energy field, the next crucial step is learning how to protect it. The 8 portals ritual isn't just a cleanse. It's also the process of building and strengthening your energetic shield. Think of your energy as a personal force field, an aura that extends around your physical body. When this field is strong, cohesive, and vibrant, it acts like a semi-permeable membrane. It allows in love, joy, and inspiration, but repels or neutralizes denser energies like stress, anger, or other people's pessimism. However, when your field is weak, porous, and full of holes, you become an energetic sponge, absorbing everything around you indiscriminately. That's why you might feel drained after being in a crowd or around someone very negative. The daily practice of the portal ritual strengthens and seals your aura. By ensuring your own energy is flowing freely and your ancestral battery is charged, you naturally make your energy field more robust and resilient. It's like pressurizing an airplane cabin. The internal pressure prevents destabilizing outside forces from coming in. Regular practice builds energetic integrity, making you much less susceptible to emotional contagion and energetic vampirism, whether conscious or unconscious, from others. This energetic shielding also sharpens your intuition. When your field is clean and strong, you become much more sensitive to the subtleties of your environment. You can feel the energy of a place or a person with much more clarity. You instinctively know whether a situation is right for you or not. Your intuition, your inner wisdom, can finally be heard, because it's no longer being drowned out by the noise and static you used to absorb from the outside world. You learn to trust yourself on a whole new level. The journey of becoming your own guardian is a continuous process of self-awareness and practice. The portal ritual is your core tool, your daily practice for maintenance and strengthening. Over time, you won't have to think about it so much. Your energy field will remain strong by default. You'll have built a foundation of energetic resilience that will serve you in every area of your life. But the journey doesn't end with protection. Once the house is clean and secure, something new can begin to bloom inside it. There is a next level. The 8 portals technique, at its core, is a tool for restoration. It clears what's blocked, strengthens what's weak, and restores the body to its natural state of balance and vitality. But its ultimate purpose goes far beyond simple physical health maintenance. It is, in fact, a gateway. Once you clear the channel, true communication can begin. The practice opens a direct line to your body's innate intelligence and to the deeper layers of your consciousness, initiating a journey of self-discovery that can transform every aspect of your life. When the constant noise of energy stagnation, chronic pain, and emotional stress is silenced, you begin to hear the subtle whispers of your intuition. That inner voice has always been there, but it was drowned out by all the noise. With a clear channel, you begin to know things without knowing how you know. You can intuitively feel which foods will nourish you and which ones will inflame you. You start to notice which relationships lift you up and which ones drain you. You feel a clear pull towards certain activities and an aversion to others. It's your inner GPS finally working without interference. This sharpened intuition begins to guide you toward your life's purpose. Many people feel lost, unsure of their passion or mission in the world. That often happens because the connection to their own soul has been cut off by the static of the body and mind. By clearing your energy system, you're essentially clearing the phone line to your inner wisdom. The answers you've been searching for on the outside begin to arise from within. You start to feel drawn to paths that resonate with your deepest truth, even if they don't make logical sense to others. The ancient Taoist masters and Egyptian priests didn't use these techniques just to treat illness. For them, physical health was the prerequisite, the foundation upon which true spiritual work could be built. They knew that a sick body and a restless mind were obstacles to deep meditation and enlightenment. The portals technique was the first step in purifying the vessel, making it a clear and strong conductor for the more subtle, elevated energies of consciousness. It was preparation for the spiritual journey. By clearing the body's energy channels, you're simultaneously clearing the channels of your perception. Your view of the world begins to shift. You start to see the interconnectedness of all things. You feel energy in places, in people, in nature. The separation between self and other begins to dissolve. You develop a deeper empathy, not from a place of pity, but from a place of recognition that we are all part of the same field of consciousness. Physical healing expands into healing of perception. The great journey we've taken together, which began with a whispered secret from a medicine god in the sands of Egypt, which traveled silently through the arteries of knowledge along the Silk Roads, and was refined with scientific precision in the mountains of China, doesn't end in a history book or an ancient scroll. It ends here and now, in your hands, in your body, in your awareness. The knowledge of Thoth, the secret of the life force, was never truly lost. It was simply dormant, encoded in our own biology, patiently waiting to be rediscovered. You are now no longer just a listener of this story. You've become a carrier of it. You hold the key, the sacred sequence to activate the 8 portals that govern the flow of your life. You now have in your hands a priceless tool to clear your energy from daily stress, to purify your body from physical and emotional toxins, to balance your emotions, to strengthen your constitution, and most importantly, to reconnect with your deepest source of power, your ancestral life force. This is your birthright, a power that was always yours. This knowledge, however, comes with a beautiful responsibility. It's not something to be used only in times of crisis, when pain or illness has already taken hold. It's an invitation to a new way of living, a life of active participation in your own health, of self-awareness, and energetic mastery. It's a daily commitment to honor the temple of your body and to keep your internal channels clear and flowing so that life force can express itself through you without interference, with fullness and joy. If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "My energy has been transformed." That phrase shows that you understood and experienced this all the way to the end. If you want to help the channel more directly, there's a link in the first pinned comment where you can contribute and support us in spreading more content like this out into the world. Any help you can give is very important to me and to the growth of the channel. But just by watching all the way to the end, you're already helping me a lot. And you can also share this video with someone who needs to know this secret. And don't leave yet. I've set aside a special video just waiting for you. Click on the video that's appearing on the screen now, and I'll meet you there.